Most people think a blood clot will come with obvious warning signs, but in reality, it strikes without a hint, killing thousands of seniors each year before they even know it's there. This episode could be the one that helps you stop it in time. Welcome back to the Senior Health Podcast. Today we're breaking down the hidden world of silent blood clots and the one daily habit that can dramatically cut your risk after 60. According to a study published in the Journal of Thrombosis and Hemostasis, seniors who sit more than 8 hours a day face nearly twice the risk of developing life-threatening clots, even if they exercise regularly. And missing the signs can mean lost mobility, urgent hospitalization, or a sudden irreversible health change. So sitting across from me today is a man who has seen these patterns play out for over a century, still treating patients, still teaching and living proof that prevention can keep you active at any age. With more than 100 years of life experience and decades of clinical practice, Dr. Hinohara brings both medical science and lived wisdom to this table. Doctor, welcome back.
Thank you, John. But let me turn that around. How many people truly believe they're safe from clots just because they feel fine right now?
Far too many. And I'd love to hear from those listening if you've ever thought that way yourself.
Yes, John, hearing their thoughts matters because clots are a silent threat that can turn deadly before anyone realizes. They don't need drama to do damage. They can start after a long car ride, a movie marathon, or even a deep night's sleep. They're often dismissed as muscle aches, aging stiffness, or just overdoing it. And every time they're ignored, the risk of a serious life-changing event climbs higher. In this episode, we're going to unpack exactly why the risk rises after 60, the subtle signs your body may already be giving you, and the one simple routine that research shows can make a measurable difference. We'll explore how to do it correctly, how to pair it with hydration for maximum effect, and the mistakes that can quietly cancel your progress. By the end, you'll know how to make this a natural, effortless part of your day. So stay with us.
So the warning signs might be there, but if we misread the cause, we could be chasing the wrong solution entirely.
Exactly. And that's why we'll walk through the signs, the science, and the exact steps to protect yourself. In clear, practical terms, you can start using right away. By the time we're done, you'll have the tools to stop seeing clots as a distant threat and start seeing prevention as something you control.
I think about this often, not because of a clot, but because I once believed I'm fine meant I'm safe. One winter, I spent a week barely leaving my desk, and by day 5 my legs felt heavy. I brushed it off. That same week, a 76-year-old patient came in with what she thought was a calf cramp. An ultrasound revealed a clot. The shock on her face reminded me how fast life can tilt, and why I now treat prevention like brushing my teeth, something you just do.
That's the point so many people miss. It's not about waiting for trouble, it's about staying ahead of it. You don't have to overhaul your life, you just have to give your body the help it quietly needs.
So let's pull the curtain back. What's actually going on inside the body that makes a clot so easy to form after 60, even in people who feel perfectly fine?
Inside the body, the balance between clotting and free-flowing blood is constantly shifting. After 60, the vessel walls lose some of their elasticity, and the inner lining, the endothelium, becomes more prone to microscopic injury. At the same time, platelets become more reactive, clumping together faster than they did in younger years, which makes it easier for a clot to take hold even without a visible wound.
So this change isn't just about major injuries or surgeries. It's happening on a smaller, everyday level.
Exactly. Long periods of stillness, mild dehydration, Even low-grade inflammation from conditions like arthritis can quietly tilt the system toward clotting. You might feel perfectly fine, yet your blood is moving just slow enough in certain spots to give clotting proteins a chance to link up.
And when that happens, it sounds like the earliest signs could be easy to overlook.
They often are. A vague heaviness in one leg, a patch of skin that feels warmer than the rest, or a fleeting episode of mental fog can all be early clues.
But those are the kinds of things most people chalk up to fatigue or just getting older.
Which is exactly why they get missed. The body is trying to adapt, rerouting blood around a small blockage. But if that blockage grows or breaks free, it can reach the lungs, heart, or brain within minutes.
So even if it's painless at first, the risk can escalate fast.
Yes, and that's why prevention isn't just a medical recommendation. It's a safeguard for independence. Once a major clot strikes, mobility and confidence often take just as big a hit as physical health.
That makes sense. And it also makes me think about how many times I've seen patients dismiss these whispers because they didn't fit the dramatic symptoms they were expecting. It's almost as if we've been trained to look for alarms, when really, the warning is more like a quiet knock at the door. Which brings us to something I want to unpack with you next: how we can use the body's own second heart in the legs to keep blood moving before those quiet knocks ever have a chance to turn into something more dangerous.
The calf muscles are sometimes called the body's second heart because of the way they pump blood back toward the chest. Every time those muscles contract, they squeeze the veins and push blood upward against gravity. After 60, when circulation naturally slows, that pumping action becomes even more important in preventing blood from pooling in the lower legs.
So it's not just walking that matters, but the specific way we activate those muscles.
Right. Even small, deliberate movements, like heel raises or ankle circles, can trigger a surge of venous return and dilute clotting proteins in minutes. The key is to repeat them often enough that the benefits don't fade between sessions.
That's what I find so striking. Prevention isn't a huge lifestyle overhaul. It's about steady consistency. I've seen plenty of patients who exercise in the morning, then sit for hours, not realizing stillness can erase much of that benefit. Just a couple minutes of targeted movement each hour can leave you lighter on your feet, more alert and more energetic. So I want to get into the exact sequence you recommend and how to adapt it for those with joint or mobility issues.
The sequence is simple but deliberate. Start by planting your feet flat on the floor, lifting your heels as high as you can, holding for 2 seconds, then lowering about 20 times. Follow with slow ankle circles in both directions, and if you can stand safely, add 30 to 60 seconds of gentle marching in place.
So the real benefit comes from activating those calf muscles repeatedly, not just once or twice a day.
Exactly. Each session boosts blood flow for hours, but the effect fades if you stay still too long. By refreshing that circulation every waking hour, you keep clotting proteins from building up in the first place.
That rhythm is what I like about this approach. It's not demanding, it just becomes part of the day. And once you've got the movement down, it's natural to pair it with hydration, which can make the results even stronger.
Hydration is the partner to movement, because even mild dehydration thickens the blood and makes platelets stickier. Steady sipping throughout the day keeps blood volume up and vessels flexible, which means every calf contraction moves blood more easily. Drinking before your hourly movement actually boosts its effect, like giving your veins better fuel to work with.
So it's not just about how much water you drink, but also how and when you drink it.
That's right. Large gulps all at once don't work, as well as small, regular sips that keep the system balanced. Herbal teas, fruit-infused water, and broths can all count toward that daily intake.
It's interesting. Once people experience that combination, they often notice more than just better circulation. There's a sense of lightness, less fatigue, even clearer thinking, which makes me want to look at how food choices can support this without falling into the trap of labeling foods as good or bad.
Food influences circulation in ways many people underestimate. Meals high in processed meats, excess salt, or added sugars can promote inflammation in the vessel walls, making it harder for blood to flow freely. But when those same meals are balanced with vegetables, healthy fats, and enough fluids, the negative impact can be softened considerably.
So it's really about what you combine and how often you have it, rather than cutting out entire food groups.
Exactly. A slice of salty cured meat now and then isn't going to undo your efforts if the rest of your diet supports vascular health. The trouble comes when inflammatory foods become the majority day after day.
That's the kind of nuance that keeps people from feeling restricted, which makes habits easier to maintain. And it ties directly into the last piece I want to explore: how to spot early warning signs without panicking, so action can be taken before a clot becomes dangerous.
The earliest signs are often subtle, like a persistent heaviness in one leg, or skin that feels slightly warmer or looks a shade redder than the rest. Sometimes there's a faint ache that doesn't match any recent strain or injury. In the brain, it might appear as brief confusion, slurred speech that clears quickly, or a sudden loss of balance that you brush off as clumsiness.
So these are the moments when people tend to think, it's nothing, I'll wait and see.
Yes, and that waiting can be the real danger. By the time swelling or sharp pain sets in, the clot is usually already well formed.
That's why prevention isn't just about adding movement and hydration. It's about recognizing when something feels off and acting quickly. And that leads perfectly into where I want to finish today: making this entire plan realistic enough that it becomes automatic. So protecting your circulation is as natural as breathing.
And when it feels that natural, it becomes something you do without thinking. The more natural a habit feels, the more likely you are to keep it. That's why I encourage people to anchor movement and hydration to things they already do: standing during commercials, sipping water before every meal, or flexing the calves while waiting for the kettle to boil. When prevention fits into the flow of your day, it stops feeling like an obligation and starts feeling like self-respect.
That's such a powerful way to look at it. We're not talking about overhauling your life or chasing some perfect fitness plan. We're talking about weaving in little actions that work with the body, not against it. I've seen firsthand how people who make these changes early rarely face the crises that catch others off guard. Before we finish, could you give our listeners one short, memorable line to carry with them?
Move every hour, drink every hour, stay free for years, and never underestimate the power of prevention.
That's a message worth repeating. If you're listening now, set a reminder for your next waking hour. Stand, flex your calves, circle your ankles, take a sip, and get back to your day. These simple steps work at any fitness level, and making them non-negotiable will stack the odds for a stronger, longer life. Share in the comments any questions you might have about this episode. We read every comment, and we'd love to hear how you're making these small steps part of your day.